Today we're going to add a drain plug to a 6L80E in a 2015 Silverado, and we're going to put the drain plug there, and we're going to drill a small hole initially just so we can drain it without making a mess. So we'll get to going to that and then be back. So we drilled a small hole, not quite to the 1/2 inch that the drain plug is going to be. As you can see, draining, and a little bit more mess because the drill bit hit the fluid and kind of flung it on the step bit, but not too bad. Just wipe it up real quick, some brake clean and a rag, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so getting the pan out, there's a few different ways. I saw it online. One guy cut that Y pipe, so that's wild. Another guy was able to just slip it out by turning the pan counterclockwise and getting the corner to squeeze through there. I ended up having to use a clamp on the cross member, and then I just flexed this exhaust, the main exhaust pipe, down. And it's not much. You need it maybe a 1/4 inch, and you can get that out of this whole setup because it's just hooked to the manifolds up there. So yeah, it flexes decently. And yeah, so we'll just leave it there until clean up the pan, and we'll go check out the pan. Okay, so fluid looked pretty good, didn't smell burnt. I got a couple shavings from the hole we poked in there. Buildup on the magnet is just fine, nothing chunky on there, so I'm not too concerned about that at all. Overall looks real good, nothing in the pan as far as chunks. The one thing that was kind of a bummer to find is the date code on this is you can see 15, so March of 15, which is kind of a bummer because it means that it's never been flushed, but at 118,000 miles, I don't think, with the condition this is in, that the guy ever hauled a load or anything like that. So overall, real good, and we'll get to cleaning up the pan and installing that plug. Okay, so I think I mentioned earlier, we're not going to use these plastic. I'm just not a fan. They seem to likely to have a major failure point. Anyway, so this I drilled so that the plug is just shy of seating, as you can see. And so when you do put the nut on the bottom side or the inside of the pan, it will crush down. But to further all that, we're going to add a little RTV all over the threads and the inside of that hole, and it's going to be great. I've done about this is the 4th pan like this that I've done exactly like this, and it is nice and dusty every time I go to drain the transmission. So there you go. One thing you can see, I triple brake cleaned this area as well as the inside so that RTV will adhere real nice and not leak. One thing update, I did not use RTV. I ended up using this thread sealant with PTFE, and the reason is it's cinched up so tight that any area that's going to require any kind of sealing material is smaller than the threads. I mean, this thing's cinched up mega. So you can see, and that is tight tight. Started actually bending the pan. I was getting it so tight. 3/4 wrench on each side, and yeah, so this is another fine install. Will not leak. We are using the ATP Automotive filter kit, made in China. Looks like 33224. I don't know. That's all this stuff. Comes with the filter. So it comes with the new O-ring that we will remove the old one in the transmission and then install this, as well as a new filter and a gasket. So right up there is that new rubber bushing, filter bushing, that we are going to remove with a screwdriver. Okay, so I bent that up enough to get a pair of needle nose vice grips, and it should just pull out now. It did take a second bite, but it did just pull out. So we have this old as dirt snap-on bushing driver set, and I've matched up the it's just a hair larger than the actual seal, and we'll just go ahead and put it up into the transmission. And there be the new one, nice and seated. One thing to check is the filter. Let's see. So that goes like that. So one thing I would do differently is the drain plug ended up being right about here at the pickup, which isn't a crazy deal because it's not slammed up against it. I did shave some of this off just to make sure. But I would put the drain plug back, say here, which would be right about here. I guess I forgot that about the other ones I did. So, yeah, but should be fine. So, after getting this all installed and seeing where this ends up touching the filter, we have plenty of room. I'd say it's the entire top part of the screwdriver there, the flat blade part, because the overall height of the drain plug bung all assembled is maybe twice that, but no, it's actually less than twice that. So it's there's still plenty of room for fluid to get by, because the filter, it doesn't actually rest on those feet on the pan. The filter's actually up inside, so the filter does not touch the bottom of the pan like I thought before I put it in. So there you go. So much winning. So as far as the drain plug goes, drain plug's great. O-ring, not so great, I don't think. I don't like it. The face, it's not captive to hold that O-ring from blowing out. I don't know. Some good old Mega Tape, though. That's kind of like Maga Tape, so it's real good. And I think that is what we're going to go with. And I like the Mega Tape because it, like the the white stuff seems to fray and peel apart quite easily. This holds together quite well. So, yeah, we're going to do that, and then we're going to take it off the lift and fill it with fluid. And I just folded this in half so that it was the width of the threads. So you only had to go like 1.5 or two wraps. And that's going to seal real good. And that's all tight and good to go. Okay, so next we're going to put a cooler flow bypass kit, A45996A. It's for a 2015 Silverado with the 6L80E. Pretty sure it fits many other years, but just double check when you order it. And we'll get started. So here we are on the driver's side of the transmission, just behind the bell housing, and looks like 13 and a 10, but I'm going to loosen the 10 first because that way I can get the lines free and not be torquing on it when the bypass valve is removed. One thing I suggest doing is, if it's dirty or even if not, just blow all around the bell housing and the bypass valve. It's kind of, sort of, you get the idea. Okay, so this came out like a dream. Literally just popped off and the lines just popped out. Hopefully when we go to take this apart, it's the exact same. I have seen videos where a lot of this is all corroded and getting it out, and more so getting this out was a real treat. So I'm hopeful, and this is not a BC rig. So that is a huge deal, and I have no corrosion or anything underneath the rig otherwise, so this should be piece cake. So it turns out that this kit was already installed, and I just needed to wipe off the plunger, the bushing, and there it was, the Surecool STL 010. Anyway, so I thought, well, I'll just take it apart just to do it and make sure everything was copacetic. So the first thing you want to do is install the 2 O-rings on this bushing, and then the other smaller O-ring that comes with the kit, put on this little piston deal. And then it's saying to put a small amount of trans assembly lube on it, and it will help it stay place when it seats against the bevel down there. And will it do that? It does. So and then the next thing is the ball bearing goes just as so into the bushing, and then the spring seats, the small end of the spring goes to the ball bearing. So we do this. Like that, and then the small end of the spring goes like so, just like that, and it goes in there. All right, Okay, so that all went together like a dream. So much winning. And now the circlip, and it actually stays wherever you put it. So when I installed it with the vice grips, I just easily, with some assembly lube, got the O-rings passed, and it's sitting in there waiting for this circlip patiently. And let's see here. I'm gonna try and do this here. Oh, and that looks like it did what it's supposed to. I'll make sure it's seated in there, but I think it is. I might have to set this down, but it looks like it is. I will double check that, and so should you. And yeah, it needs to be reassembled. And then we can put some fluid in it, because I did a trans service also. And this is going to be real good. So much winning. So we've got it back on the bell housing, and or on the back of the bell housing, and that bolt is just hand tight. It thread in real nice. And so now, to get these lines in, we just need to, and the O-rings are both in there. Try not to gouge them at all. And I think actually I'm gonna put that on first, and then put the block on the lines first, and then put the block back on. So assembly was just reverse of disassembly, and it's all back together tight, and all those gaskets, O-rings should be fine. Everything else was in pristine shape, so there we go. Sure cool STL010 install, reinstall. It was already in there. Okay, well, that makes sense why the tranny never really got hot. So, works good. Bye. Okay, so didn't put it on the lift, but just gonna drain the 6 quarts, about 50 miles or so after the service and pan install. And as you can see, dry as a bone. All right, so looking good.